that's really where we have reinvented ourselves as a digital solutions provider that is ultimately driving results.
Welcome to Velocitize Talks. I'm Andy North, and today my guest is Jon Hollenberg, owner and web design expert at 5x5 Website Design. Jon, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
So you created 5x5 Website Design 15 years ago, which is an eternity in the agency business.
The gray hair poking through.
And you're still going strong. Some of your clients include Qantas, Jetstar, and Jeep, well-known names around the world. Tell us about your company and how it stands out in the marketplace.
We're actually Australia's highest rated website design agency. We build great looking, high performing digital solutions. We can double a client's traffic in under 6 months and deliver a site that they are super proud of. So at a surface level, as I said, we're building these great looking, high performing websites. If we go a layer deeper, it is that stunning digital presence that ultimately is going to get the phone ringing and the email inquiries coming through. But if we really break it down to the core of what we're doing with our clients and our partners, is ultimately we're helping them share their magic with the world, extracting their true brilliance, putting all that together in terms of an amazing digital presence and product, and then helping them go out and share their magic with the world.
You wrote a book, and I love the title, Love at First Sight, a no BS guide to getting your website firing. That's a great title. What was the inspiration for the book, and what are some of the key takeaways from it?
When I first decided to write the book, I'd been building websites for around 7 years. And I think we as business owners and maybe technicians take for granted exactly what it is that we're doing. And so we're sitting on this like mountain of knowledge. And for the average, client that's embarking on building a website, we take all this for granted, right? So what writing a book forces you to do is actually unpack your brain to actually, dissect your methodology, the process for delivering your product or your service. It also forces you to draw a line in the sand, have an opinion on something, which I think is really important. So ultimately, I wrote the book so that I could send it to a client, a prospective client, and they could read it, they could digest it, say in about 3 hours. It's around 30,000 words in total. And at the end of that, they're more educated and more informed about what it actually is involved in terms of partnering with a digital agency.
You speak about your clients not needing a website, but actually needing the results that the website generates, which is kind of a unique approach for a website design expert. So explain the difference between having a website and having a website that generates results, and what are the three outcomes of a successful website?
We work with a lot of professional service firms, so like lawyers and accountants. Ultimately, a lot of their work comes through referrals and through their networks and all that sort of stuff. But their digital presence is still really, really critical in the fact that they need to establish themselves as an authority. So that would be number one. Clients need to establish themselves as an authority in their industry. Secondly, they want the phone to ring. They want people to raise their hand and get in touch, whether it's through email, whether it's through the phone, whether it's making sales through the website. And thirdly, it's just about having a platform that represents a consistent brand and tone of voice. So very much, the on and offline space are becoming very merged. So it's critical that these digital presence, they're all consistent with their brand, their go-to-market messaging, all this sort of stuff. So that'd be the three things that we really, really focus on from a results perspective.
What are the key ingredients to a complete digital presence? We've talked about some of the things that you want your website to have, but you have spoken about having a complete digital presence. What does that mean?
So the challenge that we were facing when we were delivering these projects was we'd get stuck into the project and we'd say, "Hey, client, I need your copy now," or I need your photography, or it'd be really great if you had a video front and center on your homepage. And a lot of times the clients would say, I don't have any of that stuff. And we'd have to, resort to using like stock imagery or just old copy that was pulled from an old website or something like that. So we reflected on that and we said, how can we stack the odds in the favor of this project being a raging success and control each one of these individual elements? So the core of that is having a customized web strategy. So actually doing a real deep dive into who the client is, what they do, who they serve, the outcomes they achieve for their clients, and ultimately how they're going to measure the success of this project. So very strong focus on the strategy from the outset. We need to make sure that their logo and brand is where it needs to be. That's the foundation that we're building everything on. As I mentioned, photography and video assets are critical. So we partner with like photographers and videographers, and we'll go on site with the client and simulate like what a client engagement process would look like. Like, what does it actually look like when I walk through the door? Who am I greeted by? What's the process that I'm taken through? Do I sit at the boardroom? And what we're trying to do is simulate what a client journey actually looks like from a visual perspective. We have copywriters on our team as well. So that's very much focused on high converting copy, direct response copy. What is it that we want someone to actually do? But then balance that against the goals that we have from a search engine optimization perspective and making sure that the site performs in Google. We're keeping the Google gods happy. Obviously, all of this is wrapped in an amazing high-performing website. So it looks visually awesome. It's technically superior. It sits there on the amazing WP Engine platform. And then the build is very much focused on a search perspective. So the architecture of the website, each page has focused keywords. Let's make sure there's plenty of content on each specific page. So straight off the bat, the website is going to perform really, really, really well from a search engine optimization perspective. And the final piece of the puzzle, which is where you come in, Andy, in your amazing business, WP Engine, we provide the hosting and the support. So essentially being in our clients' lives to be able to solve their problems long into the future.
So you guys are really vertically aligned. I mean, you've got everything from the website designer all the way through the copy and partnering for other content. What's the difference between just a plain vanilla website designer and a true digital solution provider? And you may have just answered it, but are there any other points you could add to that?
Yeah, so really like a website designer, I think, is only doing one piece of the puzzle. And typically it's where a client starts. They're like, my website sucks. I need a new website. And they go and Google like website designer. But really what they need is an all-encompassing strategy and all the pieces of the puzzle that I just described. So that's really where we have reinvented ourselves as a digital solutions provider that is ultimately driving results.
One of the questions we like to ask our guests is if there was only one thing you could change about marketing, whether it's just regular marketing or digital marketing, what would that one thing be?
The free and open sharing of information. Google have basically democratized information. You can find out how to do anything, just through YouTube or Google or whatever. So ultimately, information is free. And that's what we really encourage our clients to do, is to go out and share their secret sauce, what makes them unique and brilliant in the market.
What is the best professional advice you've ever been given or heard?
Being accountable, having people in my life that hold me to a much higher standard, whether it's my business coach, whether it's my martial arts professor, whether it's my wife, people that are going to challenge me and ultimately just ensure that every day I'm a better version of myself. So the short answer to that would be to show up and do the work every single day. There are no shortcuts in life. There are no quick fixes. You stay on the path. If you deviate from that path, you acknowledge that, you accept it, you get back on the path, and every day you work on your mission.
Is there a book, a blog, or a podcast that you'd like to share with our viewers?
There's actually a guy called Jon Hollenberg. He's a Kiwi, just from across the Tasman here. He's based there in New York City, set up a very successful and famous gym. But he's also a philosophy, a PhD, I think, from Columbia, and went there, New York City, back in the late 80s. But he just sort of has this tremendous knack of weaving together general philosophy and then martial arts. So like learnings such as leaning into discomfort, consistently putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, mindset, remaining humble, concepts around like team and environment, steel sharpens steel. So being in just like a high performance environment there. And then ultimately like being a beginner at something. So as we get older, we get very comfortable. Whereas I think it's really critical that we continue to challenge ourselves, and by, taking up new hobbies or pursuits or whatever, it just forces you to be a beginner and it twists your mind, but it's very exciting and super fulfilling.
My guest today has been Jon Hollenberg with 5x5 Website Design. Jon, thank you so much.
Thank you, Andy. Lovely to connect.